Right. Welcome everybody to ID24 2025. And yes, I'm not going to try to trip over that combination of numbers. This is the 13th edition of ID24. And once again, we have an exciting 24 hours of great accessibility and inclusive design talks ahead of us. Now, for this show, we're delighted to be joined by our platinum sponsors. So, first up, we have Jan Lund from Accessibility Cloud. Tell us a bit about your company and why you decided to support our little event.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me into this community. It's something which resonates very well with our kind of DNA, what we stand for. But just short for your folks who have never heard about the Accessibility Cloud, we are a European-based and Swedish-born company, but with a long accessibility history. And we support accessibility professionals with a testing platform for testing for accessibility. And we have clients, everything from small companies to large enterprises and even monitoring agencies who does controlling in their country to actually use Accessibility Cloud as their infrastructure. And I think for us is that, since we are coming from the accessibility side of it, is like, anything we can do to support these type of initiatives, because, it's like everybody else, you want to be there where you can make a difference. And we do think that cooperation, meeting folks around the world, the nice thing with accessibility and all of this is that it's kind of a, it's a universal language, doesn't have a barrier. And, that's where we want to be. We just want to be where, we can share and we want to learn. So we're really happy to be here today. Thank you.
Excellent. No, thank you for joining us at this slightly awkward hour for our kickoff. But yeah, very glad to see you. And next up, we also have Sarah Poulis from Intopia. And Intopia have been supporting ID24, feels like forever. I had to go back in the archives. I think you supported us every year since we went kind of independent in 2018. So welcome back
2018, is
once
it?
again.
Gosh,
Yeah.
so that's what, 17 years, my gosh, 7 years, 8 years, something like that. I can't blame the time except for the fact it's 9:30 and I've only had one coffee. So that's my excuse for getting it wrong. Yeah, look, we are so proud to have supported for ID24 for so long. And I did laugh when you said, oh, the little old event. And I'm like, well, I think it was actually little event. And I'm like, you're not so little anymore. Because I know so many people around the world tune in to ID24, not just when it's live, but also, the YouTube videos that also go up later on. So, yeah, don't downplay yourself. You're not so little. But I guess, being a, sort of digital accessibility and equitable design agency, this is part of what we do. We love supporting initiatives that, just basically share knowledge with the rest of the community. But also, that promotion of better access and inclusion and learning off each other. So for Intopia, yes, we started in Australia, which is where I am, but we are a global company. And so we've actually got people in 5 different countries, working out five different countries, and also clients around the world. And so we really help organizations where they're at with accessibility. So sometimes that can be, yep, I've got a product. I need to see how it stacks up against, international standards, whether that's WCAG, EN 313 or 1549, all the usual suspects, all the way through to how do we build an organization's capability so they can actually be more self-sufficient. So they aren't relying on us, for instance, as a consultancy, and they're building their own internal knowledge and internal skill, but also how they're maturing in accessibility. So, yes, an organization might start off with, a traditional audit, but how do you go towards more an inclusive design methodology? And what are all those things you need to have in place? Like, some of your like governance stuff and structure, like having the right knowledge and skills, that team members have. So really, we're working with organizations where they're at, and then just really trying to help them with whatever that next step is to become more mature in accessibility.
Excellent. And again, glad that you chose to support us one more year. So once we get to 17 years, we'll make a big celebration, I think. So yeah, we have another jam-packed lineup this year, another interesting mix of, interesting and often surprising kind of different talks lined up for everybody. And as ever, most of us will likely be very busy and very stressed or tired to really sit down and take it all in. But there are certainly some talks that have caught people's eyes, I would say. And, as much as I hate it, it's like, so who's your favorite child? I'm lucky enough, I've only got one. So the answer is usually doesn't get me in trouble. But I'm particularly looking forward to one talk from Mark Walker and Louis Asquith, all about the European Accessibility Act, EAA, and what it means to you. Now, I've seen both of them present on this topic before, and I really appreciated at the time their very practical insights in this area, which is why we invited them to take part in our not so little event as well. So I'm just going to popcorn around the room, if that's okay, and ask each of you who is your favorite accessibility child of this conference. And I'll start with Adrian.
This is the part where I have to find the unmute button. I'll be doing this for the next 24 hours. So to your point, trying to pick one is difficult. I am looking forward, however, to Lola Odalola's talk, The Gaps We Inherit. If you follow me on the socials or my blogotron, then you know I have very strong opinions about interoperability and what resources report things work together, because in my opinion, they're often inaccurate is my polite word. And she's taken on a pretty impressive initiative, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. But mostly, I appreciate the acknowledgement that that is a thing that we need to pay attention to. Oh, wait, this is where I popcorn, right?
Yep.
Leonie.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My choice is Anthony Vasquez, I think, about the autonomous vehicles, the good, the bad, and the game changing. I've been following some of what Waymo at least have been doing in this area, because as a blind person, I am morbidly fascinated by how badly the whole experience could probably go. But I've actually been really encouraged about what I've heard so far. So I'm looking forward to Anthony taking a bit of a deeper dive and seeing what the latest news is around autonomous vehicle accessibility. Oh, yes, I need to popcorn to Eric.
Hello. Yeah, so I've been coordinating a lot of the scheduled tweets or toots or posts or what have yous behind the scenes. So I've become very familiar with the schedule. I think the one that jumps out to me in the moment, although I'm loath to pick favorites, is Nick Chan's building inclusive maps as the token cited developer. I'm very interested in that one, in that, like, usually as accessibility folks, we're taking existing experiences and kind of retroactively converting them into something that's more interoperable and accessible. And this totally flips the script. And so I'm very kind of curious to see what they've learned and how they're going to share it. Popcorn, Kathleen.
Okay, so this is a tough choice. So there's many, but I have two that are competing for my attention. The first one is the one that is about to kick off shortly, which is by Steve Barnett, Getting Accessibility Ready for a Design System, because design systems are near and dear to my heart. It's, for me, like figuring out how can you get as much accessibility as possible into your system before you launch. Please, that would be awesome to share with just all the stakeholders. And the second one that is my brain can't get away from is the one by, oh, here it is, Piper Hudson, designing neuro-accessible interfaces for better user engagement. So there is not many talks that I've experienced that have a focus on cognitive load and cognitive accessibility. So I am all in for learning more about this talk. I'm going to popcorn it over to Ian.
Hi. Yeah, do I get to pick two? I guess. I hope so. I'm going to choose Steve Barnett, getting accessibility ready for a design system. I spend a lot of my time at the moment working with customers who are building design systems, and I think it's going to be interesting to get a perspective on that. And then I guess similar, Hannah Wagner, designers care building what speed alone can't deliver. Getting things right in your design is probably the most important thing you can do from an accessibility point of view, I think. And so I'm very much looking forward to that and hearing again new perspectives. And it's always interesting to kind of find out what you hadn't considered before, I think, really, with these talks. So yeah, they're my two. And I will pass it over to Sarah.
Thanks, Ian. So I think the one that's jumping out at me is Rabina Singh, designing with dignity, designing justice-centered approaches to inclusion. For me, I think, what I'm hoping out of this talk is that obviously there's a very strong inclusive design aspect to this. But also that it is about inclusion, Rabina actually talks about, empathy, cultural context, and also lived experience, and the importance of those in the participation process. So I'm keen to learn more about that and more about Rabina's experience as well. I will pass to Jan, I think. Oh, Jan has Jan.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going the. Oh, who's left? Who's left?
I was almost jumping on when you said Ian. So Jan is almost the same. Thanks. I think this whole event started out really strong with Steve Barnett, because that's also something which resonates really, strongly with us, and we really try to promote in the way to actually, build it into the systems. And obviously for us working with testing, being manual and having this platform, but we know that if we can track those designs over into actually checking them and work, it's just, do the job beforehand, and so it's really, I think that's really good. And I think it's we talk about shifting left and all of that. So I think it's that resonates really well. And then I'm really curious about what BBC is, thinking of for the next generation of their apps, from Andy Wrongsley. I think on a personal level, I think that's really exciting. Since, we're living with these things, and I can see with my kids and everything. It's just, I want to see somebody working in the forefront, and I want to see the next generation of apps from the BBC. So that's I'm kind of curious about that. But it's a strong lineup. It's a very strong lineup. And I think that's it. I'm last, or Hans. Hans is left, right?
Yeah, I'm the last one.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of good ones have already been mentioned. So I'll mention one that hasn't been mentioned yet. Don Parker's talk about accessible game design and cerebral palsy. That sounds really interesting to me. So, and I'll stick to the one.
Excellent. See, somebody listens to my instructions. That's reassuring. Excellent. So we're going to keep it, well, I said we were going to keep it short, and it's been a good 15 minutes already, but we still have a tiny few things to sort out behind the scenes. But I'd like to once again take the opportunity to thank our Platinum supporters, Accessibility Cloud and Intopia, as well as our silver sponsor, Intuit. and our bronze sponsors, the Law Office of Laney Feingold, Mantis & Co, and Vispero. So we've always intended ID24 to be a free event for all attendees, and it's thanks to our supporters that we're actually able to do it. So thank you very much. Now, for our audience at home, please join us at the top of the hour for the first one of our 24 talks of the day. See you there.